Hello everyone and welcome back to another video here on the channel. Today we are talking all things Britain's Strongest Man, the lineup, the events, and of course my predictions for how I think it's going to go down. This is the first big strongman comp of 2025 and I'll tell you what, I'm super excited for it. The events are heavy, they're brutal, they're exciting. The lineup is perfect for Britain's Strongest Man. And obviously, I am super hyped, super ready, and super excited to get into my predictions. Now, you may have noticed we have got a new microphone. We are making the sound quality just that much better for you guys. We have got the production quality through the roof now. So if you are new here, please be sure to go down below, click subscribe, click like on the video, share it around, and join this little strongman community we've got going on over here. We post loads of videos. It's all good fun and I really enjoy it. But without further ado, let's talk all things Britain's Strongest Man. So this is going to be a really fun one. We have got a fantastic lineup to talk through today. No Tom Stoltman, meaning that this event is going to be competitive. We have got a deep field of athletes and talent that are all going to be battling for that top spot, and it's going to make the predictions very, very difficult. But without further ado, let's go through just who we are going to be seeing at Britain's Strongest Man. So in our Britain's Strongest Man lineup, then we have the Highland Oak Luke Stoltman. We have got Adam Bishop returning after his Achilles rupture. Really excited to see how Adam does. We have got Luke Richardson, the future, the present, and definitely not the past. I am super, super excited to see how Luke does. I really enjoy his content on YouTube, his approach to strongman, and I think he is going to do very, very well in this competition. We have got Gav Bilton, super excited to see what sort of shape we've got Gav in. Gav in Britain's Strongest Man in the past has been phenomenal, so I really hope he turns up in that same shape and we can see a prime Gav back to it, loving life, loving strongman. Really, really excited. We've got Ben Glasscock stepping in for Kane Francis, who is unfortunately out of this lineup with an adductor rupture. But really excited to see Ben have this opportunity. He's got some events that he can do very well in. Not quite at this level yet, but very, very close. Really, really hyped for Ben to get this opportunity. He's a nice lad, and I just want to see him do well. We have got Graham Hicks coming back after attempting 505 for his first full strongman competition since then. Really excited to see what sort of shape Hicksey's in. I'm not sure if he's going to be in contention for the win, but I'm just really happy to see Hicksey back doing full strongman comps. We have got Andrew Flynn, someone who is super consistent across the board. We saw him at the Royal Albert Hall. We saw him at England's Strongest Man. Now it's time to see Andrew Flynn play it with the big boys in Britain at Britain's Strongest Man. We have got Shane Flowers coming in after his bicep rupture last year for another Britain's Strongest Man. We saw him at the Magnus for Magnuson as his first competition back with his confidence growing. Now, hopefully, he is confident that he can smash Britons and see where we get. Then we have got some unknown quantities in Chris Beetham, Matt Diamond, and Sean Gillen, the boys from Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. Obviously, we've seen Sean before at this level. We've seen Chris Beetham at the World Tour Finals with a late call-up, and we've seen Matt Diamond across the place as well. And I'm really excited to see how these boys can do at this level. Some of these guys have some very, very good strong events that they can mix up the points with. Then last but not least, we have Paddy Haynes, who was probably worrying that I had somehow forgotten him in this lineup. Obviously, I'm very good mates with Paddy, but that will not change my predictions. I am going to be harsh. I am not going to be biased, and I'm going to be objective here. So, Paddy, if you're watching, just prepare yourself for what I'm going to say about you. But that is our lineup. As you can see, it is a very deep lineup with lots of talents, with lots of people with very, very strong events. And I think it's going to mix up the points very, very well. I think it's going to be a very exciting competition to tick off 2025. And I'm super excited for it. But there's no use knowing the athletes if we don't know the events. So without further ado, let's go through which events we have. So we're kicking things off with the sandbag steeplechase, 3 heavy bags across a course with a hurdle in the middle. It's going to be nasty, it's going to be brutal, and it's going to kill these guys off to start off the day. Then we've got the deadlift ladder, really nice and heavy, 5 bars, and I believe the last one is 400 kilo, which is just immense as part of our ladder. Then we have got a personal favorite event of mine. We have got the duck walk into the farmer's walk. This one is going to be super exciting. I've been begging for a duck walk to come back to competition, and we've got one. This event is going to be the one that shakes up the points the most. I think it's going to be super, super interesting. Then classic strongman, we have got the log for reps, and then the Atlas stones to finish off. I think this competition is just classic Giants Live strongman. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be good. We've got a load of good events that everyone can relate to. It's going to be fun. But without further ado, we are now going to go event by event, analyze exactly who we think is going to have some good performances, and then right at the end, we're going to attempt to predict a top 3. So first up then, we have the sandbag steeplechase. This one is 3 heavy bags with a hurdle in the middle. So that means 6 total bag pickups. Usually it's just the 2 bags, and that kills people off enough. So the 3rd bag in here is going to really add another dynamic to this event, where some of the guys who would have just been able to get through it last time might struggle to finish this course, and it's going to favor the guys who are much more athletic, much better at endurance, and also the ones who are much quicker, because the quicker you can do this event, the quicker you're going to be able to finish it, so you can sit back, relax, and recover before the deadlift ladder. Some standout names that I think are going to do very well at this event. I think Luke Richardson is going to absolutely fly. We've seen him on a steeplechase before. He just has this ability to scoop up a bag and get moving quick. I think Shane Flowers, depending on how confident he is in the bicep, is going to be very, very quick on this one. Someone like Paddy Haynes is going to have the fitness and endurance advantage over some of the other athletes, and is going to be very, very speedy as well. I think this is an event that Paddy could do very well. And I think Adam Bishop as well is a very quick mover. If his Achilles isn't bothering him and it's all healed up well, he can be very, very quick on this event, as can Luke Stoltman. I think he's going to be up there as well. There's going to be a real mix of guys who can finish this event and do so quickly. I think, unfortunately for Gav and Sean Gillen and Matt Diamond and people like that, the more statically strong guys might struggle to finish this event just with the amount of endurance it's going to take. I can see them finishing it, but perhaps not in the quickest time. Graham Hicks as well. I believe his movement has sort of gone down a little bit when he's been prepping for this 505 deadlift. He's got much more static and much less mobile, so hopefully he's got it back a bit, but I still think it's going to be a hard ask to get up there and medal with the winners. And then people like Andy Flynn, Ben Glasscock, they're going to be right up there as well with people who can move quickly with weight. It's just whether or not they are experienced at this level. Obviously, it's your first, for Ben at least, it's his first proper Giants Live. I know he's done England's, but Britain's Strongest Man's a whole nother kettle of fish. Having that experience at England's, and Andy as well at the Strongman Classic in England's as well, is going to be valuable going out and doing a Giants Live. But your first event out at a Giants Live, you're going to be nervous, and sandbag steeplechase is one that you can make mistakes on. But I think if they play well and they do well, those two could be up there in the mix as well. It's going to be a very interesting start to the event, and it's definitely going to set the tone for where people are going to be battling. And an event that's going to mix things up even more is the deadlift ladder. I think this is so much better than just a standard axle deadlift for reps at this level of competition, because if it was just an axle deadlift for reps, you'd be looking at Bish, you'd be looking at Hicksy as sort of certainties to do well. But the fact it's a ladder brings speed into it. It brings the difficulty of setting up to each bar. It just brings a whole lot more sort of stuff that can go wrong in the not the injury sense, but in just the setup sense. So I still think with this one, someone like Bishop is going to be very well. We've seen Adam Bishop in the past on a deadlift ladder. His strapping up technique is just super quick, super easy, super speedy. I think Luke Richardson is going to do very, very well here. I think Graham Hicks is going to be able to finish all the bars. It's just about how quickly he can do it. I think Paddy on this event is going to do quite well as well. I think his ability to be able to just grip all of the bars, obviously he's got a very, very strong grip in Strongman. It is going to be interesting to see if he opts to mix grip all of the bars or he's going to strap up for the last one. But either way, I think not having to strap up for most of the bars is going to give him a bit of a speed advantage. Shane Flowers has the capacity to finish them all. A lot of these guys have the capacity to finish them all. I feel like Sean Gillen, Gav, people like that might finish all 5, but perhaps not in the quickest time. But I do think this is the event where Luke Stoltman could lose some points. We've seen him on a ladder before. It is quite a good deadlift variation for him. He can get through a few of the bars in a fairly quick time, but I think not getting that last bar might cost him a few good points overall. But I think for Luke, this is the one event that will cost him a few points. I think the other ones are quite good for him. But next up, we have probably my favorite event in the lineup. It is the Duck Walk into the Farmer's Walk. People I'm going to be looking at here, I think Luke Richardson, again, is just going to be up there. He's going to be Mr. Consistent. He's going to do really well. I think Paddy, again, can do very well. It involves moving, and I think he has the advantage of not having these great, colossal, strongman thighs that get in the way of the duck walk. Being a bit leaner, being a bit more speedy, a bit more athletic, just makes it a bit easier. And obviously, his grip is phenomenal. Farmers should be absolutely no problem for him. And then I feel like everyone else really on this event is such an unknown quantity. I just have no idea how certain people are going to be performing on this event. People like Andy Flynn and Ben Glasscock could come out of nowhere and absolutely blitz this event and do really, really well. I feel like Gav and Sean Gillen and Matt Diamond and the more of these thick-set guys are going to be struggling a bit more just with how much that duck walk implement is going to be bashing into their thighs before they get to the farmer's walk. I just think it's going to be such an interesting event. And I think this event is where we're going to start to see the air of a podium emerging, saying who managed to stay consistent through this event, because the next two events are more standard strongman events that are a bit easier to predict because we've seen the guys do them so many times. But this one with the duck walk element is just going to be a bit harder to predict and a bit more interesting to see. So I think after this event, we'll start to know who's really battling for that first and second and third position on the podium. But yeah, without further ado, let's jump into the next event. So the next event then, we have got the log press for reps. I believe it's 150. It might be 160. But again, the guys I'm looking for this event are going to be Luke Richardson. Again, just Mr. Consistent, going to do well in every event, I think. Adam Bishop, I think, could possibly drop a couple of points here because we got some very strong pressers that could pip him or tie with him to spread the points apart. Someone like Sean Gillen's going to do well here. I think Gav could get a rep up on Bish. I think even Ben Glasscock's a very decent log presser. He can get a good couple of reps. Someone like Andy Flynn, Shane Flowers. There's lots of guys who are round about that middle of the pack mark that can possibly cause issues for Adam Bishop. I think if Adam Bishop manages to just get a rep more than that pack of people, he'll be in a very, very good position. If he ties with them or gets a rep less, it's going to be very, very bad for him. Because up the top end, we have Graham Hicks, Luke Richardson, Luke Stoltman. They're going to be the big pressing powerhouses. Sean Gillen's going to be up there as well, all getting a very, very decent number on this log. And I think, unfortunately for Paddy, he knows this. He's going to be right down near the bottom on this event. It's just damage control for Paddy. Hopefully he does well in the event before so he can come out, he can see whereabouts that big gaggle of middle pack is. And if he can squeeze out enough reps to beat a couple of people and get some points, fantastic. But the thing is, with it being a log for reps rather than a max event or something like that, is he's unlikely to zero. So he's at least going to pick up 1 point in this event, hopefully. So it is just about damage control for Paddy. His log's getting much, much better, but I think this is the event that's going to cost him quite a bit. But that leaves us off with the stones, and it is the heavier set of stones finishing at 200 kilo, which it should be. And I think we've got a lot of guys here who have the potential to finish this stone run, depending on how fried their lower backs are. I mean, Luke Stoltman is going to finish it. Luke Richardson's going to finish it. Bish is going to finish it. Gav's going to finish it. Paddy's going to finish it. Ben could finish it. Andy could finish it. Most of the guys could probably finish it. And I think for the podium, this is going to be a very exciting event, because I think going into this event, we're going to have 4 or 5 guys all battling for first still. I don't think we'll have a runaway leader unless Luke Richardson does something magical. I think we're still going to have a big battle for that first place, and indeed second and third for the podium as well. So I think the Stones is going to be quite an exciting finish here at Britain's Strongest Man. And I mean, I've said all the guys who can do well at this event. I think Luke Stoltman's going to do very well. Richardson's going to do well. Shane's going to do decent. Paddy's going to do very well. He's up there with the best on stones. There's lots of guys who can do well, and there's a lot of guys who can get in between people and shake things up. I think Ben is a perfect example of someone who can get in between some people on this event and cause them some problems. And I just think it's going to be a fantastic climax to Britain's Strongest Man. And now I have got the unfortunate task of having to pick my podium because it is going to be a tough ask. But before I go ahead and pick my podium, I want you guys to comment down below your podium, who you think is going to win, who in second, who in third. And I want you to pick one person from the lineup that perhaps I haven't given enough airtime in this predictions that you think is actually going to surprise and do really well. Perhaps not end up on the podium, but maybe end up 5th, 6th, somewhere right in the middle where you might not have expected them. But for me, I think my podium now is going to be tough. Let me have a think. So I think in the first place, I am going to stick with my gut and say Luke Richardson. I think Luke is the person with the least weaknesses at this competition. I see Luke as someone who is like Mitchell Hooper, just super good across the board at everything. It's just that people like Mitchell Hooper are 5 to 10% better at everything across the board. So I feel like give Luke a year or two and he'll be up there, providing he stays injury free. But I think at this competition, he just has no holes. I think he can be up there on every event, top 3 on every event, and I think that's going to secure him the win. And then I think everyone else has at least one event where they are going to drop a couple of points on. But I think in second place, I am going to stick with Adam Bishop. He is phenomenal at Britain's Strongest Man. And I think the log, where it might cost him a couple of it might cost him a couple of points. I don't think it is going to cost him as much as some of the other events might cost other people. I think he's still going to be very much in the mix on that event, even if he is 4th, 5th, 6th on that event. I still think he is going to get a decent number of points. So I think I'm going to go with Bish in second. And then third place is the hardest to call because there are about 4 guys who all have one sort of weakness that could prevent them from getting onto the podium. It's just about whether or not the other events are better for them than the other events are for the other guys. I think it's going to be very close. I think for me, I am going to put Luke Stoltman in third place. I think his weakness being the deadlift on the deadlift ladder is not going to cost him as much as, say, a Paddy Haynes is the log, or someone else somewhere else. Like, there's just so many good guys in this competition that I just don't know where to put them. I think, gun to my head, I'm going to say Luke Stoltman in third, and then I think Shane Flowers is going to come in 4th and Paddy in 5th, because I think Shane, again, doesn't really have any weaknesses across the board, but I think his strengths are stronger in other people as well. I think Shane's one of these people who, again, is just super consistent across the board, pretty decent at everything, but he doesn't have any banker events in this competition like a sandbag toss or anything like that. So it will depend who he can pip in different events, but I just think there are people who can get between him and some of the other guys on the other events, but I still think he's going to remain very consistent. So I'm going to say Shane in 4th. And then Paddy in 5th, just because I feel like 4 of the 5 events are really good for Paddy, and he has the genuine possibility to come top 3 in every other event. I just think the log is going to cost him too much to be able to make up the points against someone super consistent like Shane Flowers, like Adam Bishop, like Luke Richardson. These guys are all super consistent and don't have such a glaring weakness like Paddy does with the log. Unfortunately, it's getting better and better all the time. And I think give him another year or two and his log will be up to scratch and be able to hang with the guys a bit better. But I think at this stage, 5th is probably decent for Paddy. But honestly, there are so many guys that I haven't mentioned that could be in contention for the podium. Gav could be up there. Graham Hicks could be up there. Andrew Flynn could be up there. There's so many people who I've not even mentioned in this podium discussion that could have a very, very real chance at coming on the podium. So it's just hard to call. It's hard to predict, but that's it. I'm putting my foot down. That is who I am picking for my top 3. In fact, my top 5 I've given you there. But as for the person who I think is going to do better than people are giving them credit for, I think that's Ben. When Ben got announced as the replacement for Kane Francis, there was definitely some discourse in the comments section where people didn't think he was deserving or people didn't think he was quite at that level yet. And yes, he's not quite at that level, but he is definitely worthy of being at Britain's Strongest Man. Ben is a phenomenal athlete. He did very, very well at England's Strongest Man. He came second at OSG Europe's. He is a very, very solid and consistent athlete, and he deserves this chance at Britain's Strongest Man. And I think there are some events in there that Ben could be coming mid-pack on and proving some people that he does belong at this competition. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does and how he copes with a Giants life. But I think he might do a bit better than people are giving him credit for. But those are just my opinions. That is just my predictions for Britain's Strongest Man. I want to hear your guys in the comments down below. But that is the end of this video. If you are new here, go down below, click like on the video and subscribe. We do loads of strongman stuff over on this channel. I am currently in preparation for Oxfordshire's Strongest Man. So not quite Britain's, but up there at a county level. And we are having lots of fun doing some of the events there. Hint, it's got a car roll in it, so if you want to see me train for that, go down below, click subscribe. But also we do this pro strongman talk as well, because I'm just as big as of a strongman nerd as I am into the strongman training. So thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Toby, and I will see you in the next video.